What's up, guys? Back with another movie review. Today I'm here to talk about another one from Twilight Time Movies, and it is The 7 Ups. So, this movie follows Roy Scheider, who plays the leader of this kind of elite group of cops who's been assembled to take down super high value targets. This unit is called the 7 Ups because the people that they target are going to be sent up to prison for at least 7 years. So again, these are high value, priority targets. They're really hard to get, criminals. And in order to do that, this squad is given some, certain level of leeway as far as bending and even breaking the rules because, the ends justify the means, basically. Roy Scheider has a connection on the inside of the mafia. He kind of does a little, give and take with his contacts so that he can get a little information to stay ahead of some of the criminals and also, show his loyalty in return, which is pretty shady, but whatever. It's a covert group of cops working against the mob. They got to do whatever they got to do, right? Anyway, so everything goes pretty well for the most part, but then this kind of elaborate crime spree begins where mafia bosses are disappearing. There's all this just backstabbing and betrayals going on. A member of the 7 Ups dies, and Roy Scheider realizes that he's kind of in maybe over his head because not only is are they not getting the people they're going after, but they're in danger of losing everything as far as the 7 Ups being shut down and also just of dying, period. And that's kind of the movie. That's the rest of the movie. The things just really can just start to collapse around them, and they kind of have to scramble and try to stay one step ahead when somebody's clearly multiple steps ahead of them already. So this movie was heavily inspired by The French Connection. You can tell that even if you've only seen The French Connection once and you can barely remember it, you'll recognize a lot of similar themes here. They're both kind of gritty crime drama / thrillers, that have a few of the cast members are even the same. They both have really epic, memorable car chases. So a lot of people may dismiss this as kind of a watered down version of The French Connection. And while it's not as good as The French Connection, how many crime movies are as good as The French Connection? Very few. You can't hold it against a movie because it's not as good as The French Connection. That's just silly. That's completely unrealistic expectations. But I really like this. I think it's a really solid movie. Roy Scheider is really good. Tony LoBianco, Richard Lynch. I think Richard Lynch, right? Yeah, Richard Lynch. And then also Joe Spinell even has a small role in it, which is awesome if you're a genre film fan. It does have an amazing car chase, one of the best in any movie ever. Certainly, it's by the same. It's choreographed and actually executed by the same guy who did The French Connection and Bullet. So it's just top of the line. It's amazing. It's jaw-dropping part of the movie, and for a lot of people, it's probably going to be the best part of the movie. But I think this has got a good storyline. It's interesting. It keeps you reeled in. I feel like the pacing is pretty good in this. It never feels drawn out or slow. And it has pretty much everything you would want from a crime movie. And I think it's kind of unfairly judged because it is so similar to The French Connection. But, I mean, French Connection is great. So if you're going to take notes from a movie, that's a pretty good one to take notes from. And I feel like, again, this does definitely have the fingerprints of that movie all over it. But it also never feels like an out-and-out retread. And it's a really high-quality movie. It's not like it's some cheap knockoff. They brought in great talent and just let it loose and came up with a really good movie. So I really like the 7 Ups. I think it's a really solid movie. If you like kind of gritty crime dramas and thrillers, or if you just love car chases, this one is amazing. It's really cool. The car chase alone is worth checking this movie out for. The Blu-ray from Twilight Time has an HD transfer that it looks really good. It's really clean, really clear. It's not over-processed. It's got a nice amount of detail in it, but it still retains that film-like quality. I was really impressed with the transfer on this one. It also has not just one, but 2 isolated scores. It's got the original one by Don Ellis, and it's got an unused one by Johnny Mandel. It's got a film historian commentary track. It's got a introduction from the actual director of the film. It's got a ton of featurettes and interviews. It's got a scrapbook, and then it's also got trailers and a bunch of promotional material galleries, which is really cool if you're interested in the marketing and advertising of the movies, which I think is a really cool inclusion. So it's a absolutely stacked disc. I understand why some people may either kind of dismiss this one or just not give it a chance because it is so similar to The French Connection. But honestly, if you like The French Connection, you're probably going to like this movie. Just don't go in with a, asshole perspective, and maybe you'll appreciate this one. I think it's got, again, everything you could want from a crime thriller and more. I think it's really well made. I think it's got it's really high, like high production values. It's just really good. So what if it's similar to another movie? So that's my review of the Seven Ups. I think it's really good. I think it's highly recommended to anybody who's interested in crime thrillers, car chases, mob movies. I think all people of all those genres will find a lot to like here. And again, Twilight Time's disc is amazing, so that's recommended as well. Sorry, this is going really long, but I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, at Mark Fusion, Letterboxd at Mark Fusion. But the best way you can help me out is just to hit that sub button. Help me keep watching all these movies, talking about them with you guys, and watching old videos as well. There are a ton of Twilight Time reviews in this playlist, as well as all kinds of other crazy movies and stuff. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon.